My name is Zoe. Sitting in my apartment, looking at the awards I've received for my work as a patient advocate, memories of that fateful day flood back. It's been 2 years since the incident that changed my life forever, and the scars, both physical and emotional, are still there. It all started at my brother Ryan's 26th birthday party. Ryan was the golden child in our family, always the center of attention. My parents, Howard and Victoria, were wealthy business owners. They were so focused on their social status and business success that they often ignored the signs of Ryan's aggression towards me. They were dismissive and quick to label me as overly sensitive whenever I showed any signs of distress. The garden, with its large and luxurious swimming pool, was filled with Ryan's friends. The pool deck was still damp from the light morning drizzle when Ryan got that mischievous look in his eyes. I knew trouble was brewing. At 24, I should have been able to stand up to him, but years of being belittled and told to be more tough had made me timid. "Hey, guys. I'm gonna show you my cool moves on my little sis," Ryan announced to his friends, who hooted and pulled out their phones. I felt sick to my stomach. Ryan's so-called moves were never innocent. But my parents had spent years convincing everyone that I was just being a sport. "Ryan, please, not today. I'm wearing my new office clothes," I pleaded, trying to back away from the pool's edge. "Office clothes? Your boring corporate uniform? Come on, Zoe. Don't be such a party pooper." "It's my birthday," he scoffed. I tried to make my way towards the house, but in an instant, he grabbed my arm. His fingers dug into my skin like a vice. His friends cheered him on, thinking this was all part of some fun sibling play. "Ryan, you're hurting me," I whispered, afraid to make a scene. I'd learned that speaking up in public only led to worse consequences later. "Hurting you? I've barely started. Remember our childhood twister spin?" He laughed with that cold, cruel laugh I'd heard so many times. The twister spin was what he called it when he'd grab my wrists and spin me around until I was dizzy and then let go. As kids, it used to end with minor scrapes, but now we were grown-ups, and we were next to a hard, concrete pool deck. "No, please," I begged, trying to pull away. But it was no use. He started spinning me. The world became a blur of colors and laughter from his friends, who thought they were watching a harmless game. I heard my mother's voice from the patio, "Oh, those two are at it again. Brother-sister banter, you know." Then, he let go. Time seemed to slow down as I flew backward. I saw the horror on one of his friends' faces as he realized I was headed straight for the concrete steps. I tried to twist my body, to break my fall, but the momentum and dizziness made it impossible. My lower back hit the edge of the top step with a sickening crack that echoed through the garden. A searing pain shot through my body like a lightning bolt. And then, nothing. There was no feeling in my legs, no sensation below my waist. I lay at the bottom of the steps, my upper body twisted awkwardly, unable to move. The party fell silent for a moment, broken only by Ryan's laugh. "Dude, that was amazing. Did you get that on video?" He high-fived his friend before looking down at me. "Get up, drama queen. The ground isn't comfy." "I can't, Ryan. I can't move my legs," I whispered, panic rising in my throat. My father, Howard, walked over with a scowl. "Every single time we have a gathering, Zoe, you have to make it about yourself. Get up." "Dad, I really can't move my legs," I repeated, louder this time, tears streaming down my face from pain and fear. "Walk it off. Stop being a baby. You're embarrassing us in front of our guests," he roared, his face red with anger and humiliation. My mother, Victoria, appeared with a glass of champagne in her hand, looking annoyed. "Zoe, stop this drama. You're ruining Ryan's birthday. He only turns 26 once." "I can't feel my legs," I screamed, my fear finally breaking through the years of silence I'd been conditioned to. Ryan nudged me with his foot. "Come on, get up. The joke's over." That's when Lily, one of Ryan's friends who was studying to be a nurse, pushed through the crowd. "Wait, don't touch her," she said, kneeling beside me. "Zoe, can you feel this?" She touched my leg. There was nothing. She tried the other leg. Still nothing. Her face paled. "Nobody move her." "Where's a phone?" "We need to call 911 right now." "Oh, come on," my father started, but Lily cut him off. "Sir, she could have a spinal injury. Moving her could cause permanent damage." She was already dialing. "This is Lily Thompson. I need an ambulance at 789 Oakwood Lane. Possible spinal injury from a fall." "This is ridiculous." "She's fine. She always does this for attention," my mother slurred. But I wasn't fine. I lay there, half numb, while my parents complained about the drama I was creating. Ryan had gone quiet, looking a bit uncertain as his friends whispered among themselves, some still recording. The paramedics arrived within minutes, though it felt like an eternity. The lead paramedic, a kind-faced woman named Miss Davis, immediately took charge. "Ma'am, can you tell me what happened?" she asked. "My brother spun me and threw me into the steps." "I can't feel my legs," I said, my voice shaking. "She's exaggerating." "They were just having fun," my father interjected. "Ms. Davis ignored him and focused on me. "Can you wiggle your toes?" I tried, but nothing happened. She exchanged a worried look with her partner, which made my heart sink. As they carefully secured me to a backboard, Miss Davis made a call that changed everything. "This is Unit 23. We need police backup at our location. Possible assault resulting in paralysis." "Assault? This is our home. Our daughter just fell," my mother shrieked. "Ma'am, the victim stated she was thrown. Given the severity of the injury, we're required to report this, Ms. Davis replied firmly. The police arrived as they were loading me into the ambulance. I heard my father arguing with them, insisting it was just a family matter, an accident. But Lily was giving her statement to an officer, and several party guests were showing the videos they'd taken. At the hospital, the emergency room doctor, Dr. Miller, looked at me with kindness. "Zoe, I need you to be completely honest with me. Has your brother ever hurt you before?" The question broke something inside me. Years of being called a liar, of being told I was overreacting, all came pouring out. "Yes. But my parents always said I was making a big deal out of nothing," I sobbed. She nodded and made some notes. "We'll take good care of you, but first, we need to do an MRI to see what's going on." The MRI results were a shock. Dr. Miller returned with a neurosurgeon, Dr. Harris. Their faces were grave. "Zoe, Dr. Harris began gently. "The MRI shows a fracture in your L2 vertebra and compression of the spinal cord. But that's not all. You have multiple old compression fractures at different stages of healing. Your T7, T11, and L4 vertebrae all show signs of previous trauma." "Old fractures?" I stared at the images on the screen, not understanding. "These injuries didn't happen today. Some are months old, maybe even years." "Zoe, has your brother been physically aggressive towards you for a long time?" Dr. Miller asked. I thought back to all the times Ryan had pushed me around, calling me clumsy. How he'd body slammed me during so-called play fights, with my parents always saying it was just brotherly fun. And being thrown off the swing set, just being a crybaby. Each time, my back had ached for weeks, but my parents had refused to take me to the doctor, saying I was being dramatic. "Yes. Since we were kids," I whispered. Detective Wilson arrived an hour later. She was thorough and professional. Most importantly, she believed me. "The videos from the party clearly show your brother intentionally throwing you towards the steps," she said. Combined with the medical evidence of repeated trauma, we're looking at a pattern of assault. Will I walk again? I asked Dr. Harris. With surgery and intensive physical therapy, there's a good chance. But Zoe, if this had gone untreated, as your parents suggested, you could have been permanently paralyzed, he said, shaking his head. My parents were arrested that night on charges of child endangerment and failure to provide medical care. It turned out that in our state, allowing ongoing abuse and denying medical treatment was a felony, especially when it led to serious injury. Ryan was charged with aggravated assault. My extended family was divided. Some sided with my parents, saying it was all a misunderstanding and that I was overreacting. But my Aunt Grace came forward. I always worried about the way they ignored your injuries and the way Ryan seemed to enjoy hurting you. But your parents were so convincing with their excuses, she told me during a hospital visit. The surgery to stabilize my spine was successful, but the recovery was tough. 6 months of physical therapy, learning to walk again, and dealing with the psychological scars of the injury and years of abuse. My therapist, Dr. Reed, helped me understand that the physical abuse was only part of it. They made you doubt your own pain and experiences. That's why you didn't seek help earlier. During the trial, the MRI images were shown to the jury. Dr. Harris testified about the old fractures, explaining how each one would have caused severe pain and needed medical attention. The prosecutor asked him what would happen to a child who was repeatedly injured and denied medical care. They would learn to live with chronic pain. They would internalize the idea that their suffering doesn't matter. It's a form of torture, he said. My parents' defense attorney tried to paint me as a clumsy child prone to accidents. But the videos from Ryan's party were damning. You could see him calculating the angle, intentionally releasing me towards the steps, and hear my parents dismissing my paralysis as attention-seeking. Ryan was sentenced to 5 years in prison for aggravated assault. My parents each received 3 years for child endangerment and criminal neglect. The judge's words rang through the courtroom. Parents have a fundamental duty to protect their children and provide medical care. You not only failed in this duty but actively participated in and covered up the abuse. It's been 2 years now. I can walk again, though I still have some pain and limitations. I live independently in my own apartment. I work as a patient advocate at the hospital where I was treated, and I speak at conferences about recognizing child abuse in medical settings. Ryan wrote me a letter from prison once, complaining about how I'd ruined his life, no apology at all. I didn't respond. My parents, released early for good behavior, tried to contact me through relatives, saying they just wanted to make me stronger. But I've learned that true strength doesn't come from spinal fractures. The MRI images are part of my medical file, but they are more than just pictures of injury. They are proof that I wasn't crazy or oversensitive. They are evidence that sometimes the people who should protect you are the ones causing the most harm. Lily, the nursing student who called 911, is now a nurse. We've kept in touch, and she told me that my case changed the way she approaches patient care. I always listen now. When someone says they're hurt, I believe them. That's all I ever wanted, to be believed. It took paralysis and medical evidence for that to happen, but now I use my voice to make sure others don't have to wait so long. No one should have to prove their pain with broken bones, and no one should be told to walk it off when they can't even move. The truth in those black and white images set me free, even if it came at the cost of learning to walk again.